Um, do you believe that the crypto market will plummet as it did in 2017 and we'll see kind of a bubble occur again in the near future? How should I be looking at the market as we move forward here with all this institutional money?
Yeah, I don't think we're going to create a new form of money and a new form of financial institutions without having a lot of bumps along the way. It's not going to be a smooth monotonic increase. And because these things are very thinly traded, and small chunks of the world discovers them, suddenly at a time, and what are small amounts of money in the real world can move these markets massively. There's just going to be a lot of ups and downs, and the bubbles and busts are going to be a part of the process. Are we in a local bubble right now? Probably, yes. I see an incredible amount of froth. Numbers are going up every day. Is the bubble going to pop, quote unquote, in the sense of like, will prices come down from here? Probably. I mean, they could rise 3x from here and then come down 2x and back to where we are. So it's very hard to predict anything exact, nor would I try to do that. That's a fool's errand. But bubbles and busts are going to be part of it. And what the game is like during every so-called bubble, the game is to take your assets from things that don't make sense, shift them out of the things that don't make sense, and put them in the things that do make sense. So, for example, in 2013, 2014, the IQ test was buying Bitcoin. If you bought Bitcoin at that point, you did pretty well. And in 2017, 2018, if you came out of that holding a few key things like Ethereum, you probably did better now than if you hadn't. So in this one, you probably have to pick out what are the staple DeFi things, what's going to work and last out of DeFi, and hold on to that. Um, but yeah, I mean, there's going to be bubbles along the way. But so look, bubbles are of a concern for traders, right? Traders are people who kind of trade in and out and try and play timing games. I just don't think that's a good way to make money. Okay, that's a way to kind of gamble. It's kind of a casino, and maybe you have an edge because you understand a few of these coins better and a few of the trading patterns better than everybody else. But my experience has been that people who make money trading are usually very loud about it when they make money, and then they're very quiet when they go bust. And inevitably, most of them go bust. So I'm not a trader, I'm an investor. I buy something when I have faith in it, I hold it as long as I have faith in it, and then I sell it when I no longer have faith in it, when I lose faith in it. I try not to time myself in and out. And I'm not saying that I only do pure investing. I also fall into the trap of trading. But usually when I fall into the trap of trading, I'm FOMOing after someone does something and I just lose a bunch of money. So I'm not sure if I really answered your question. It's kind of a non-answer, but it's sort of an impossible question to answer, right? Because it's too macro. It's like, are we in a bubble? Now, one interesting story is that this is probably the third bubble that I've seen up close, right? And they're each different. Like I saw the internet bubble, the 1999 bubble up close, and I remember thinking at the time, man, I don't have much capital. Dear God, please give me one more bubble. And then I saw the 2017 crypto bubble up close, and then that one popped before I could do to take advantage of it. And I was like, dear God, just give me one more bubble. How about a third one? And here we are in a third one. And honestly, I don't know what to do. Like it's not obvious. So it's the nature of bubbles that when you're in them, you don't know when they end, you don't know where they top out, and if you sell, you're probably selling too early, and if you don't sell, then you held on too late. So it's just the nature of the beast. So just focus on the long term. Pick things that you don't mind holding through booms and busts because you believe in their fundamental value, and just ride it out. Take a longer viewpoint, and you can sleep better at night. So thank
Wow,
you. I'm going to move you
absolutely.
back to the
Thank you so
audience.
much.
Yeah, I mean, just get your blood pressure down, stress less, hold for longer, and you'll make clearer decisions. Look, the richest man in the world who's an investor is Warren Buffett, and that guy makes one investing decision a year. And he probably sells once every few years. So that's the model to emulate, right? Have the judgment, spend the time to do the research to figure out where the fundamental value is, and then make your bets with deep conviction, hold on to that. Traders, by definition, are people who don't have conviction in the underlying asset. Their conviction is a short-term one in market movements. It's very hard to have conviction about short-term things. By definition, the shorter the shorter the moves are, like whether it's news or weather or sports or politics, these short-term aberrations are very hard to predict. But in a weird way, it's easier to predict the long term than it's to pick the short term. Like if I look at an entrepreneur and the person is really bright and really hardworking, then long term I can predict they're going to be successful. But is the specific company they're going to be working on successful? That's a much, much harder thing. Is the exact product they ship next week going to be successful? That's a much harder thing. Long term is actually easier to predict than short term. It just requires patience. So it's not that people don't have the judgment. Like the longer term you look, actually, the better your judgment gets. They just don't have the patience because they want to get rich quick. So, all right, I'll take the
Thank
next
you.
person.